Hello and welcome to the latest podcast. I am your host, JP John Paz, right here on the two-man power trip of wrestling. Of course, joining me is the former WWF head writer, the former WCW head writer, the former WCW World Heavyweight Champion, believe it or not, Mr. Vince Russo.
What do you
Vince,
mean?
how
What
you
does
doing?
that mean? What does that mean?
You're
What's the
not a
believe it or
wrestler.
not, John?
Come
What's
on, you're
that
not a
mean, John?
wrestler.
John, look,
Oh, jeez. You're
John,
not
I'm
a
going to ask you a question
wrestler, though.
seriously.
Yeah.
What's more far-fetched? Vince Russo, WCW champion, Johnny Gargano, WWE champion. Come on, bro.
Ooh, I don't know. You're about what, 6'4"-ish? I mean,
No,
you're pretty. You're
6'2"-ish. 6'2"-ish.
you're pretty big though. You're pretty tall. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. Gargano's, he's a good wrestler, but he's pretty small.
Bro, what about the WWE is up against Monday Night Football for the first week? We got Aaron Rodgers, big game.
Yep.
What about at 10:58, bro? In the ring for the WWE is Ivan Drago and Kevin Dunn. At freaking 10:58, bro. 10:58. Those are the two wrestlers they have in the ring opposite Monday Night Football. And then people are going to argue with me that they care. Really, bro? They care, huh?
Dragonoff and Pete Dunne, not
Yeah,
Kevin Dunn and
whatever.
Drago. Yeah,
Whatever,
yeah.
John. 6 of one, half a dozen of another. Bro, they were in the ring at 10:58 with Monday Night Football. And people are going to argue with me that the WWE cares? Really, bro?
Not
It's a joke.
not a great rating for. Well, Monday Night
Of
Football had
course
a
not.
great rating, but not a great rating for Raw.
What had a good rating? What'd you say?
Monday Night Football had a good rating. I don't
Oh,
remember
yeah,
what it
yeah,
was,
yeah.
but it was good.
Yeah, well, and bro, I mean, it was a blowout too, man.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, it was a blowout. If that was a close game, it would have been a lot higher.
yeah, it would have had better ratings actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as far as today, in today's topic, Unforgiven 1999, September 26th, Charlotte, North Carolina, Charlotte Coliseum, almost 16,000, 15,779 in attendance. The buy rate, 300,000. Man, did you know going in this was going to be your last WWF pay-per-view?
Was I definitely there for this, bro?
Yeah, yep. Yeah, we talked about this, I think either last week or the week before. We talked about how this was the last one that you were actually there for.
Okay, yeah, because the Meadowlands show was the first one I was not there. Shortly thereafter this. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I had no idea, bro. I had no clue whatsoever.
Man, it's such a weird way to go out. Unforgiven, 99. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah, Vince was unforgiven for what he told me about my kids, bro. He was unforgiven. Yes.
how fast between him saying that, do you call WCW, do you get hired? How quick did that
Oh my
timeline
God,
go?
bro. First of all, he said that to me in his office. I got in the elevator and went from the fourth floor to the second floor. And I walked in my office and picked up my phone and called my friend Matt Miller to get a hold of JJ Dillon. It was that quick.
Wow.
Bro, the whatever day of the week that was, I flew to Atlanta that weekend. And Atlanta, bro, when I flew to Atlanta, when I got on that plane, John, I knew I was signing a contract with WCW. Vince was going to know I went to Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? He was going to find out. I wasn't going to, try to keep anything a secret. So as soon as I got on that plane, I knew I was signing a contract. So I got there. I met with them on a Saturday, like all day. And then they wanted me to bring Ed in. So they flew Ed in, first thing Sunday morning. And then Ed and I sat with them together. And I left Sunday night with a contract.
Wow. Just like that. That's
Just like that.
Yeah, they wanted you, I guess. Very, very fast.
Yeah. Just like that. Yeah.
So as far as Unforgiven is concerned, beforehand, and obviously when the intro video hits, they highlight how the fact that it's a six-pack challenge for the main event, it's for the vacant WWF title. How did you get there? Very interesting. So Austin's champion at SummerSlam, he loses to Foley. Foley loses the next day to Triple H. Triple H loses the title on SmackDown. loses the title to Vince McMahon thanks to Stone Cold Steve Austin. So what the heck's going on? What's the thought process in putting on the championship on Vince McMahon of all people? That was crazy.
Because again, bro, this is what this is what people don't have a clue about, bro. And this is why you just keep seeing the same tired stuff at WW week after week after week after week. Bro, when you do something that is so out of the realm and out of the norm, what it does, John, is it just creatively opens up so many new avenues to you that weren't open up before. So when you put the belt on a Vince McMahon and you are writing, 2 television shows a week, you're doing the pay-per-view, what is that, 116 shows? I think that's 116 shows for the year. Unless you create situations like this, that like all of a sudden the belt is on Vince McMahon. Now all of a sudden so many doors open and you can go down so many roads that you could have not gone down before. When you create situations like that, bro, it just opens up the creative envelope. Think about it, bro. Think about Triple H goes out on SmackDown tonight and some way or another Triple H wins the WWE title. Think about that. You now have a it's like when Dorothy walked into freaking Oz and you saw all the colors and the flowers and the hills and the rainbows and you have so many now new, different, unpredictable possibilities, bro. That's why you had those moments. David Arquette winning a title, Vince Russo being WCW champion for a day. That's why you did things like that, bro. So you could creatively open up the book and now you could go in so many different directions. So you don't understand that. People don't understand that unless you're actually writing the show. Because if you're not doing things like that, John, you're writing the same show every single week. How long, bro? How long have we been writing The Bloodline? I mean, right. When was the last time we saw Roman Reigns? Was it WrestleMania?
No, he showed up on SmackDown a few weeks ago.
But I'm talking about prior to that. It was WrestleMania,
yes.
right?
Yes.
And what was that? March,
April. Yeah.
April. So you went May, June, July, August. You went 4 months with Solo Sequoia. Like that's why they just keep repeating things over and over. CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. That's why we did things like that, bro, to just creatively open it up.
So Vince McMahon is going to win the title on SmackDown thanks to Stone Cold Steve Austin because he has that bitter feud with Triple H. He also hates Vince, but it's just funny that he screws Triple H that title and gives Vince the title. When you're looking at that, does Vince want to be champion? What does he say about being world champion? Is he a part of that decision?
He's doing whatever we write. Vince would never suggest that in a million years, bro. Vince would have never suggested put the title on me. He would have never suggested that. That always had to come from us. And Vince knew, bro, like that, we were writing the best show possible. The numbers were backing it up. So he never, bro, see, that's the thing, because people don't want to believe that. They don't want to believe whatever we wrote Vince McMahon did. They don't want to believe that. That is the absolute truth, John.
Wow. It's just interesting that he's the champ of his own company. It was so crazy, but obviously got some eyeballs on there and people were really paying attention to it. He, of course, gives up the title. He puts the six-pack challenge match out there for the vacant title. So it makes sense storyline as far as him just giving it up. He didn't really want to be champion.
Right. And bro, we did that with me and David Arquette. Like David Arquette went out there the next night after he pinned Eric Bischoff and he was like, "What, are you freaking kidding me?" Like and I did the same thing. When Goldberg speared me through the cage, on the very next show, I relinquished the title. The very next show. So of course, bro, when something like that happens, that's a fluke. And now it opens up the creative envelope. You're going to react in the storyline like that was a fluke and it wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So as far as this show is concerned, the first match up is going to be, well, actually, even before I get to that, I just want to mention that that vacant match, the special guest referee will be Stone Cold Steve Austin. He'll be the special guest enforcer referee for that match. Vince agrees to that because Austin helped him win the title, and he basically says, like Austin basically says, I want, to be, a part of this match because then I want a future title shot at whoever wins it. So it's like he's setting himself up for the title match, but he also setting himself up to be a part of the match. Obviously, creatively, you're putting him in there, star power, but he's injured, right? I mean, he's got a knee injury going on, or supposed knee injury going on.
1,000%. And that's I talk about that all the time today, John, all the time today, which I don't understand, and I don't know how this happened, because all of a sudden, when a WWE wrestler is hurt, you don't see them. Bro, when somebody got hurt during the Attitude Era, they were on the show. They just didn't work. They either cut a promo. I mean, whatever. It didn't affect the writing. Like I can't imagine, Austin's hurt, so he disappears and he's not on the show. I don't need Austin to work. I just need the presence of Steve Austin. And I don't understand, Rhea Ripley gets hurt. She's out 3 freaking months. And meanwhile, it was like an arm injury. How is she not on the show? So, yeah, bro, like I said, if somebody couldn't hurt, it wasn't an issue because the characters were so over, as long as we could write them on the show.
So as far as the first match up, Val Venus versus Steve Blackman. Val Venus defeats Blackman 6 minutes and 30 seconds. After the match, Blackman KOs Val Venus with the kendo stick. So interesting little thing there. So BB, the nurse, comes out, and obviously the crowd pops because, it's because of obviously tall blonde, busty, the whole 9 yards here. She comes out, the crowd, whatever, and she is attending to Val. Jim Dotson gets into it with Blackman. He actually ends up spearing Blackman, and Blackman just rolls out of the ring, and he says, screw this. So Val Venus loses. Blackman's able to get his heat back a little bit, but then Dotson, what's up with this storyline with Dotson taking him out?
I definitely wanted to go down that road. That guy was a beast, bro. That would have been a great storyline. That would have been a great. Bro, let me ask you a question now. Did Al Snow wound up marrying BB, right?
In real life, or
yeah.
I don't even know. No, I don't even know. I'm not even sure. That's your boy, Al Snow. I'm not even sure.
I'm almost positive. I'm going to look it up while you talk. I'm going to look it up because I think, bro, come on. Al's been married so many freaking times. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, it's hard I know he's not married now, but let's see the Wikipedia. I just want to see. I'm going to go to his personal life real quick. I'm almost positive, bro, that he married her. Let's see, Al Snow.
He's not married now? I thought he was married.
He is married now. He is, but it's not BB. Okay, let's see. Snow has been married 3 times. He married Pam Sarvin in 1986. The couple had 2 children. They divorced in 2004. His second wife was fellow wrestler Cynthia Lynch. Oh, no, who wrestled under the name Bobcat.
Oh, yes. Yep. They do look alike, though. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, they married in 2009, divorced in 2015. In 2017, he married his 3rd wife, Jessica. In 2021, Snow saved the life of a child from an ocean riptide at Santa Rosa Beach. Yeah, he probably put that in there himself, bro. You know how like you could add to your Wikipedia pages? He probably put in there the thing about saving somebody. I wouldn't doubt that, bro.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, so bro, it wasn't BB, it was Bobcat.
Yeah, Bob. You know what you're avoiding, bro?
Jim Dotson?
No.
The Val Venus BB thing? They're obviously teasing something there with Val? No?
No. Bro.
The fact that Brooklyn Brawler was the Scab referee for this match and pretended he didn't know how to be a referee? He pretended he didn't know how to count? No?
No.
Bro.
Your Giants on Sunday.
Oh God, yeah, they're horrible.
Bro,
They
what?
stink.
Bro, literally half of the college teams can beat them.
They did not look
Bro,
good. Yeah, they did not look good.
horrible. I was thinking of you, John. What a dismal
Disgrace. Yeah.
performance, bro.
Disgraceful.
Yeah. Bro, do you go to many games?
I haven't been in a couple of years. No,
Yeah,
I
I
always
don't
watch
blame
them
you.
on TV though.
Yeah. I don't even get them here on TV. Bro, do you that freaking package is like $400. Are
Yes.
you
Yes.
are you nuts, bro? Like that's ridiculous. I mean, bro, I get the season pass for baseball every year. Bro, it's like $200. I ain't paying $400 for the NFL. That's ridiculous.
So my buddy got the YouTube package for $400. He said that he also needs YouTube TV, which is $70 a month. So they give you the package, but they
Oh my
block off the
God.
local games. So you have to have
Yeah.
YouTube TV to get the local games. The package is for the other games. So I said,
It's
"Oh my God!" So I was going to
what a
get the
joke.
package. He said, "Don't do it," because he goes, "Then you got to get YouTube TV and it because they block off the Giants
It's
games."
a
So I just got
joke.
Sling TV, which has all the local games and
Yeah.
the local
What do you
channels.
okay, so you get on Sling TV. Bro, I
Yeah,
swear to God, like I'm not a Rockies fan, but I like to watch the Rockies, and the Rockies are blacked out. The Rockies, Avalanche,
yeah.
and the Nuggets are blacked out in Denver. So I was able to get all the Rocky games for $100. It was $100. You just get the Rocky games. Bro, on top of that, they send you a voucher for 2 tickets to any game. And bro, I'm talking about like the first 10 rows.
Wow,
I'm talking
amazing.
about like unbelievable seats. So for $100 you get all the Rocky games, and then you get 2 unbelievable seats to any game you want. And I'm going to pay $400 for are you nuts, bro?
The NFL's greedy.
Oh,
No
that's a
doubt about it.
lot. That's a lot of money, bro. That's a lot of money, man.
So you're teasing something with Dotson here. You're teasing something with Val
Yeah.
Venus and this nurse, who obviously
Yeah.
Lawler recognized, and the crowd pops for, which is
And I
funny.
guarantee you, were both things dropped after we left?
As far as I remember, yes, because I don't
Yeah,
remember Dotson doing anything really like with the rest of the
Dotson would
storyline.
have 1,000% been in the ring, no doubt about it.
Love that.
Yeah.
And obviously you got the Scab referee thing, which is pretty funny. And I'll talk about Dr. Tom in a second because he's the referee of the next match. But I was joking around with Dr. Tom about this, and he said, "Yeah, do you remember Brawler like pretending he couldn't count?" He's like, "Oh," he goes, "I'm not a referee." So he goes, "So you can't count?" He's like, like, what do you mean?" Because he's trying to
Yeah,
do the psychology of it. Well, I'm a Scab referee. He's like, that doesn't matter. Like, you still know
right,
how to
right,
like do
right.
stuff.
That's funny, man. That is funny.
The Scab referee thing, obviously, it's going to make sense later on the night, because Austin's going to end up counting 3. Surprise, surprise to anybody who doesn't know that, but I guess no spoiler yet. But why Scab referees? What was up with like a storyline with
Is
referees?
that when the referees went on strike because they were
Yes,
getting abused and shit? That's freaking
yes,
awesome,
yes.
bro. That is awesome. Bro, to this day, one of my biggest pet peeves, even Rocky Mountain Pro, bro, if making referees look stupid is my biggest pet peeve. My biggest pet peeve. And it
Don't watch
happens.
AEW then.
Oh,
Don't
bro,
watch AEW.
that's what I'm talking about. It drives me crazy because, bro, the reason you're making referees look stupid is because of a lack of creativity. A lack of creativity, bro. Ref takes a bump. Ref doesn't see. Ref's back is turned. Ref is
Yep.
distracted. It's lack of creativity. It drives me nuts.
So the Scab referees obviously are going to be Harvey Whippleman, Brooklyn Brawler, Dr. Tom. So Dr. Tom will be a ref. And I just have a funny little comment when he comes out that Lawler was saying. But they go backstage. Big Show is backstage as an interview with Michael Cole. He's talking about the six-pack challenge. He's talking about how he's going to win the title. Was there any sort of heat on Big Show, just as far as you know, as far as some of the wrestlers? Because I just watched an interview with Undertaker and Kane, and they just were popping themselves laughing about all the heat that Big Show had backstage in '99, because they said like he's oblivious to some of the stuff. They said he would bully people, but said he really wasn't bullying them. Undertaker in a match actually slaps him, and he said it was a part of the storyline with him and Big Show and how he was just whatever. But he said it was somewhat of a shoot because he was being a dick in the ring. Like, was there heat on Big Show behind the scenes? Was he?
Bro, I don't think that he was specifically on Big Show, but bro, you got to remember, man, they were kicking our ass for 83 weeks. So when somebody came over from WCW, Jericho, Big Show, there was heat because of that. Like, that was real competition. And the fact, bro, because think about it. If WCW was kicking our ass for 83 weeks and they were dominating the ratings and they were dominating wrestling, what did that mean back then? Back then, bro, that meant that the boys were making less money.
Right.
All of a sudden, everybody's watching, Nitro and going to, pay-per-views and going to WCW live events. The boys were making less money. So that's what it was, bro. Seriously, man. It was the 83 weeks and them getting our asses kicked. And then when guys came over, I'm telling you, bro, there were residuals from that.
Also, Taker was mentioning that he was obviously, as everybody knows, when he's the Giant WCW, his first match basically in WCW, he beats Hogan for the title. So he's immediately getting like a huge push in his first ever wrestling match. I mean, so Taker was saying he had a bit of an attitude, like as far as who he was.
Not only that too, bro. Vince gave him a huge contract. Didn't Vince give him a 10-year contract or something?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, Vince gave him a huge contract, and bro, stuff like that gets around the locker room quick. So I'm sure all of that had a lot to do. I could tell you this, bro. The time that I worked with him, Paul White, he never gave me a problem. There was never an ego. I never, ever sensed that. I mean, I was there when he came to Vince's house. And even at that first meeting, he never, to me, he never carried himself that way at all. But I'm sure with the guaranteed money that he was getting paid, that had a lot to do with it, bro.
And I always read in the dirt sheets, I don't know if it's true or not, but he had in his contract for that 10-year contract that he's going to win the title like multiple times, like stuff like that, like which I'd never heard before in contracts. But if that's in the guy's contract, obviously he knows he's going to be king shit. He's going to be the champion at one point.
I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised. I don't know, bro, at all what was in the contract. I mean, that would be interesting for JR to answer that question, but I don't know. Yep. But I would not doubt that, bro.
Then we have a DLo Brown, Mark Henry video package highlighting how Mark Henry turned on him, even though DLo's been a good friend for him, obviously for many years. It's going back to their start with the Nation of Domination together. Then backstage, Mark Henry is with Lillian Garcia. He's got two females with him, two good-looking females. He whispers something in Lillian's ear. Lillian slaps him. So really teasing up the sexual chocolate stuff, wow. But he's playing into it pretty well as a heel, I feel like.
Bro, that's funny because I don't even remember working with Lillian Garcia. Did she just come in?
Yeah. Yep. And she's just a backstage announcer at this point.
Because also, too, bro, I believe I'm doing a show with Coach now, bro. We do like a half NFL wrestling hybrid. We're doing it on Sportskeeda. I also think like Coach was there a week or two before I left. I think Coach just came in. So, yeah, man, I didn't work a long time with those people.
The refs are backstage picketing, so they're on strike. They're picketing. They're not happy.
Bro, that's what I'm talking about. That opens up an entire new avenue storyline wise. That things like that are exactly what I'm talking about, bro. Exactly.
Yeah, it made it interesting because now Dr. Tom is the ref for DLo versus Mark Henry for the European Championship. And he's just got on like regular, I guess you would say blue sweatpants. For some reason, Lawler keeps saying, because, Ross is like, it's Dr. Tom and stuff like that, just to, say who it is, former wrestler. Blah, blah. So Lawler goes, can you get a decent pair of pants? What is these blue pair of pants? So, why is he wearing blue? For some reason, Lawler's definitely ribbing him on purpose.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, I love that stuff, bro. And that's unfortunately for wrestling marks, that's the stuff they hate. They'd rather get injected by syringes and stuff like that.
Oh,
Bro,
Jesus Christ,
stuff
yeah.
like that, I love. I love stuff like that. Like, bro, I'm doing an angle right now. It's Smoky Mountain, Rocky Mountain Pro. Like this, I'm doing an angle right now where, bro, the champion has disappeared. We have no idea where he is. We have no idea what happened. We're taking the belt off of him. There's going to be a tournament, but the champion just vanished into midair.
Interesting.
Stuff like
Wow.
that. Stuff like that creates like what the frick. Like that's what I enjoy doing.
Dr. Tom said he just had the blue pants just because he didn't expect to be the referee. Just putting on whatever. He doesn't have referee pants or
Bro, I remember talking about the big show. This is a shoot, John. I remember one of the early shows he was on, bro, the dude like didn't have like appropriate street clothes. Bro, we had to send a runner to Walmart to get him black pants and a black t-shirt. Bro, you think you're just going to find that size?
Yeah.
Like, are
Holy
you
crap.
freaking kidding me? But I do remember that specifically. Like, we wanted him in street clothes, and what he had, I don't know if he had Zubaz or, whatever he had, but it was inappropriate. We had to send somebody out for hours looking for clothes that would fit him.
Wow. Crazy.
Yeah.
Next up, DLo Brown defeats Mark Henry to win the European Championship. The crowd was big pop for the finish, even for the Val Venus match. Like Val Venus came off the top rope with the big splash. Here he does the frog splash. DLo, big pop for the finishes here. The crowd is very much into it. So we have a new European champion. It is DLo Brown. What do you think about that? He loses it the month before to Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett gives it to Mark Henry, just gives him the title for thank you for helping me beat DLo. Then DLo beats Mark Henry for the European Championship.
Bro, I was telling, I work with DLo at Rocky Mountain Pro. So I work with DLo every month. I still see DLo. And I was telling DLo, bro, as I go back and I look at the Attitude Era shows on russosbrand.com, my God, bro, him and freaking X-Pac got the European title over. It was over, and there was a big feud with those two. And bro, the reason why it was over is because those two guys made it mean something. Those two guys made it important. And I was telling DLo that the other day. My God, bro, it was a freaking European title. But you guys really, really made it mean something because it was important to you. We don't see stuff like that. I mean, come on, bro. A couple of months ago, a couple of weeks ago, Kevin Owens turning down a title shot because he doesn't deserve it. What world are you living in, bro? Like that's what I'm talking about. Those guys made that belt mean something.
Next up, we have the Acolytes backstage with a promo with Michael Cole. JBL takes a little shot at ECW and Public Enemy because they're fighting the Dudley Boys later on that night. He said it's going to be like the other two boys from ECW that we kicked out of here. So he takes a nice little shot at ECW and Public Enemy there because obviously the story goes the Acolytes beat the crap out of Public Enemy. Yeah, and they got rid of them.
Yeah.
So funny little line there from JBL. Then Chaz and the Hollies, Joey Abs, they're all brawling in the back, and the whole thing is because Chaz had heat on him in the locker room, and as the announcer explaining, because he supposedly beat his girlfriend Mary Ann. What was going on with this storyline? With Chaz and Marianne, he supposedly beat her, and the rest of the locker room wanted to beat him up for it.
Wow, that's very interesting. I don't remember, but that's bro. Here's what it all comes down to.
Controversial
John.
Gimmick there.
And not only that, but more important than that, bro. More important than that, we were trying to have a storyline for every freaking wrestler on the card. From Jim Dotson to Bobcat to BB to, that was the whole thing. We were trying to, and not only were we trying to have a story for every wrestler on the card, bro, we were trying to have a different story. The angle for everybody wasn't, oh, we're both wrestlers and I'm better than you and I want to have a fight. We're looking for different stories, bro. And you know what? They ain't all going to hit. There's going to be some stinkers in there, but at least we tried to give every single person on the card a story.
Next up, Harvey Whippleman is going to be the ref for this one. JJ, aka Jeff Jarrett, defeats China via DQ. Jeff Jarrett was with Miss Kitty. He's no longer with Deborah. They're teasing a lot of heat with him and Deborah and Kitty. So actually, though, a very interesting finish here. So Jarrett wins via DQ in the end, but during the match, Moolah comes out, Mae Young comes out. They start fighting with Jarrett. Remember the Jarrett versus women gimmick? He was a woman beater and all this other stuff. They beat him up, but then he turns the tables and he beats the crap out of him. He actually sends Johnny Mae Young out of the ring at one point, like kind of viciously. Obviously, she doesn't mind; she could take it. He beats up Moolah, a little bit nicer, but he beats up Moolah. Then he goes for a figure four on China to get the win. He turns around. Deborah nails him with the guitar. China ends up getting the 1, 2, 3, but Dr. Tom comes out, says, "No, no, no! Look at the footage." To Harvey, he said, "Deborah hit him with the guitar. This is a DQ." He gives the title back to Jarrett, so Jarrett ends up winning via DQ, even though China got the win. China's pissed. She gives Dr. Tom a pedigree, a very stiff pedigree. He said hurt his neck a little bit on this one.
This is not the Good Housekeeping match, right?
No, that's the next month.
Okay, that's what I wasn't at. So I definitely was at. Bro, I swear to God, John, the funny thing about this is it would be hysterical to find out the ages of Mae Young and Moolah at this time. John, they were begging to be on the show.
Wow.
They wanted, I mean, bro, they just because of the love, they just wanted to be on the show so bad. And every time they got written into a show, bro, they were so freaking excited. That was incredible, bro, because at their age, man, they still wanted to be out there.
They're nuts, man. Like taking bumps, getting beat up, and it's just the crowd ate it up, but it's just funny.
But bro, back then, how tough were those women, man?
Oof, unbelievable.
Forget about it.
With Jarrett and this feud, obviously it's controversial too because it's like him versus a woman. It's an intergender match. Any thought of putting the title on China? Because she technically wins. She gets a big, even though she's technically kind of a heel because she's still with Triple H, she got a big baby face pop and a big baby face reaction. So it's like up in here. Did you want her to win the Intercontinental title, or is this a little bit of just a bait and switch here?
Well, see, that's a good question, bro, because I know a lot of people talk about this. Bro, there was never a discussion for China to win the world title. That discussion never ever took place. Now, the Intercontinental title I can see, but John, honestly, I don't remember if that was ever discussed or not. I don't remember.
Would you have wanted to put it on her? Obviously, you left before she got it. She ended up getting it, but would you have wanted to be the person that gave her the title?
To me, bro, it's all about being believable. I would have believed that. I mean, if you booked the match correctly, it was believable for her to win a title. I mean, Mike, bro, listen, if you don't believe me, John, do you remember the Celebrity Boxing when she was in there with Joey Buttafuoco? Remember that? Bro, she freaking held her own in a legit fight. She literally held her own, didn't back away from him. You know, he could have killed her, honestly, bro, and he was kind of backing off Joey Buttafuoco. But, bro, she did not back down, and she held her own. So, again, if it's the way you lay out the match, but it could have been very, very, very believable. Who does she beat for the Intercontinental title?
Next month, Good Housekeeping. She beats Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, and because of that type of a match, you could do it.
And a good little finish, too, because Jarrett wins, and then he comes back, and then or ends up escaping with the title. Then he has to come back and do the match, and because he didn't really use you have to use a housekeeping weapon. So he wins, and then she ends up winning because she uses the household weapon.
Yeah.
So he kind of had an out there, and they even booked it kind of strong. That's his last match before he goes to WCW, and he got a $250,000 check on the way out because of him holding up Vince for the IC title. So
he
made himself look pretty good on the way out. Yeah.
Bro, I swear to God, I would love to know. My God, I can't imagine from day one when he was working for Jerry at USWA. From day one, I think Jeff started as a referee. until today, I can't imagine how much money Jeff Jarrett made for himself. God bless him, bro. I mean, God bless. Bro, do you watch AEW? Like, I don't watch AEW. Like, can Jeff still go? I
Yeah,
mean, how are his? Yeah, see,
he
and
just
I
had a
don't
really.
doubt
I mean,
that.
it's Danielson, but he had a good match a few weeks ago with Brian Danielson. Really good. I was like, wow, look at Jeff. Yeah, he's
Unbelievable.
55, but he looks like he's like 40,
Un
40
unfreaking,
or maybe
yeah,
less. Yeah.
unfreaking real. But can you imagine, bro, the money Jeff's made for himself over the years?
Oh yeah.
He in and out of WWE so many times, different runs at WCW, now at AEW. My God, bro. God bless him, man. God bless him.
Next up, we have the Acolytes versus the Dudley Boys. Jimmy Corderas is the referee. He's the only non-scab referee for the night, which
He crossed the picket
nope.
line.
Yep, and the other referees are not happy with him, so that'll set up
Oh yeah, of course
later on
not.
in the evening as
Yeah,
well. It's a little bit of tease for later on in the evening as
yeah,
well. The Acolytes defeat the Dudley Boys in about 7 minutes and 30 seconds. This is the Dudley Boys really, debut, if you will. Take the
but
loss to the Acolytes here, but thanks to Stevie Richards, who's doing that imitation gimmick, he's dressed up as one of the Acolytes. He hits Devon. Acolytes get the win. The Acolytes actually don't even give a shit that he helped them, and they beat him up afterwards after the
yeah.
match. And they're like, "Oh, by the way, thank you," and they shake his hand, of his dead body.
Was this a pretty stiff match? Was it stiff?
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah, I can
yep.
imagine, man. I can imagine, bro.
I
Especially
feel
so
like it's
was
like
it what
Acolytes, like welcome to WWE, and the ECW guys, the Dudley Boys are probably like, well, we can kind of keep up with you because all
yeah,
four tough guys.
yeah, that God, I can imagine. Yeah.
Not a bad match, but it kind of is what it is. And Stevie
Yeah.
helped out in the end, so you do keep the Dudley Boys looking strong despite the
Yeah.
loss.
Yeah, yeah. Bro, I do that to this day, man. Like I said, I work Rocky Mountain Pro. Bro, there are no jobbers. Everybody has to mean something, and to this day, no matter who I'm writing a wrestling show for, I whether if you're under, you're gonna be protected, bro. Somehow, some way.
So Ivory ends up defeating Luna Vachon to retain her WWF Women's Championship, 3 minutes and 30 seconds. This was a hardcore match that started out in the back, but Ivory retains. Then Lillian Garcia is back with Moolah and Mae Young. Ivory runs into them backstage, and they have a little bit of a brawl. So Moolah and Mae Young are used again on the show, and they're not done as Ivory is starting up with them.
Yeah, that's awesome, and I loved her, bro. She was
Ivory.
fantastic. Yeah, yeah. Did they have? I mean, it was short, but was the match with Luna good?
It was okay. I mean, it was just
Yeah,
really too short to
very
whatever, but I
short.
mean, they were beating the hell out of each other.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolute old school, man. Old school, bro.
Next up, the New Age Outlaws, Billy Gunn and the Road Dogg defending their WWF Tag Team Championships against Edge and Christian. The New Age Outlaws get the win thanks to the new brood of Gangrel and the Hardy Boys. They cheated, but that means that the Outlaws retain the titles. They kind of didn't realize what was going on because they're still kind of being baby faces here, but the Outlaws end up getting the victory over Edge and Christian. First of all, what do you think about them getting the win? Obviously, Edge and Christian have an out because the Hardy Boys and Gangrel cheated. But what do you think about putting the Outlaws back together here after they were separated for months?
Oh, yeah. It was how long were they separated for?
4 months, maybe something like that, because Billy
Yeah, I
Gunn was
mean, it
turning
was.
heel.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably time to do it again. Maybe it was a lack of, like they weren't as successful individually as they were as a team. You're not going to do something like that, bro, unless there's a reason for it. So I'm guessing that was it.
And did you feel they needed the tag titles again? Like, were they going to be solidifying the tag division, or how come you wanted them to be champs, or they should be champs, kind of thing?
They should be. To me, they should be champs. Bro, to me, there is an element with me, bro, where if you're the champ, like somebody believable has to really beat you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like
Yep.
that's always my philosophy. Bro, I'll never forget when I was consulting for TNA, and Bobby Lashley and MVP were at TNA at the time, and John Gaborik wanted to put the belt on MVP, and I'm like, bro, put the belt on Lashley. And bro, my thing was when I was looking at that TNA roster, there was nobody that could be popular. I would have kept that belt on Bobby Lashley for God knows how long. Bro, like 3 months later, they had Eric Young take the belt from Bobby Lashley. No, bro, somebody's got to come along that is believable and can take the belt from that guy. So like there's always a sense of that with me, that I've got to believe if somebody's going to win the belt as a viewer, I got to believe that they're capable of winning the belt.
So then Lillian is backstage with Triple H and the British Bulldog, who seem like they have a bit of an alliance going on. So Bulldog helped Triple H retain the title on SmackDown to beat The Rock. It just seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but it seems like you guys are really trying to give Triple H a push. Like everybody's helping him. Shawn Michaels helps him. British Bulldog helps him. China helps him. Like Shane McMahon helps him. It just feels like he's just, I don't know, you guys are trying to assist him any way you can to get him over as a heel.
That's real interesting that you say that, John, because that wasn't like, there wasn't really an emphasis on that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it wasn't said like, oh my God, we got to get Triple H over to the moon. It wasn't said that way. So it just seems to me like storylines were really dictating this, but he kind of seemed to be benefiting from the good fortune, because it was never like we're putting this guy over to the moon. I mean, that was never the case, but it was probably through storyline that, you know, he was the guy benefiting.
Next up, we have Big Boss Man backstage with Michael Cole. He's talking about the Kennel from Hell. He's talking about how he killed Pepper and made Al Snow eat it. So I know Boss Man's awesome at this period, although he's in some hilarious storylines. Like he remember Big Show eventually with his dad. He takes his yeah, I know you weren't a part of that, but he takes his casket and he's driving it around, making fun of Big Show, calling him crybaby. He has Al Snow eating his own dog. I mean, crazy stuff here with excuse me, Big Boss Man with Big Boss Man here. So the Kennel from Hell match. Whose idea is this?
Worst
Yeah, I was going
match
to say,
ever.
is this the worst match ever?
Worst match ever. And I'll tell you why, John. And it's because, bro, in my mind, all I could see when I'm booking this match, all I could see was like canines, you know, German shepherds, you know, foaming at the mouth, showing, showing their teeth. That's all I was seeing in my mind. And I'll never forget, bro, we're backstage before the show, and the handler, somebody tells me that the handler is there with the dogs. Okay, so I got to go see what these dogs look like. And I'll never forget, bro, I went over to the handler, and the handler's got the dogs. Bro, the dogs come over to me and start freaking licking me. And I'm like, bro, never in my wildest imagination did I think these dogs were going to be freaking pets. I'm thinking, bro, you know the canine police dogs when they got to put the thing on the arm and
Yes.
the dog grabs the arm and like, bro, you can lift the dog like off the air. You won't let go. That's what I'm thinking. That's the only thing I'm thinking. And then these dogs show up that were like people's pets and like were not ferocious and were so tame. And bro, that is 1000% on me, because that thought never ran through my head, John. Like I never thought, well, what if the dogs aren't vicious? I never ever thought that. So that was because the dogs were what was going to make or break the match. I mean, no question about it. Worst thing I ever booked in my freaking life. You know, a lot. You know, Al's real nice about it, and he always said he never blames me, and he always says, Vince, how are you supposed to know? I should have thought of that, John. I should have thought, what if we don't get the right dogs? I just assumed, and I should have never ever assumed.
They ended up
Terrible.
being friendly Rottweilers, it seemed like.
Yes. Terrible. Terrible, 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 terrible.
So this was your idea, though, is just as far as booking the match, like a cage
1000%.
within the cage with the Rottweilers
1000%.
roaming around?
With the motive, yeah, 1,000,000,000%. Yeah, nobody else's. Yeah, terrible.
Where'd you get the idea from?
Just trying to do something different, bro. Always, always, always trying to do something different.
So Al Snow beats Big Boss Man in the Kennel from Hell to retain the Hardcore Championship. The match actually was 11 minutes and 40 seconds, so somewhat long for a hardcore match, and somewhat long to deal with this gimmick match too. They kind
Bro,
of should have cut it short.
was there any good dog spots? Like one? Nothing.
Not really, no. I mean, both guys are somewhat bleeding during it, so they're trying to make it violent stuff, but just teasing with the
Yeah,
dogs.
man.
But it was just like, I don't know, even with the handlers, it almost seemed like it was like too many people outside the cage. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know how
man.
you would do it if you had no handlers and just had the dogs roaming around, but you almost were better off.
I gotta go back and really look at, bro, that I've never watched that match back ever. I've got to go back and look at how bad that match was.
Pretty funny. Al Snow before the match, he's like cursing, he's angry and stuff, but he dedicates it to Pepper. So he did end up winning the match, and he won it for Pepper, who he
Yeah.
ate the week before thanks to the Big Boss Man. Whose idea was? I guess that's you writing that, but
Yeah,
do you think
it
that's
was
taking
mine.
it too far? That Boss Man killed his dog and made
Not
Al Snow
really,
eat it?
because I mean, is that true? You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Or
yeah.
did Boss Man just say? I remember filming that, bro. We totally trashed the freaking hotel room doing that. I remember.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know South Park did it. I want to say after
Oh,
you,
did they really?
Scott Tenorman. Yeah, Cartman made him eat his own parents.
Bro, do you know those guys, Stone and
Parker.
Park, bro, they were huge fans of the Attitude Era because, bro, there's a book out there. It's called Showrunners, right? And there's a chapter on different showrunners in the industry, and in that book, they talk about what huge fans they were of the Attitude Era.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah,
Very interesting.
yeah, really cool. It
Okay.
was really cool when I read that. Like, I just bought the book because I wanted to read it. I didn't even know they were in the book. And then when I read that, I'm like, wow, bro, that's that stuff like that, like puts a smile on my face.
Love that. So Mankind's backstage with Michael Cole talking about the six-pack challenge and also talking about the Rock and Sock connection, which he loves and maybe the Rock does not, which was an interesting dichotomy. A tag team with two guys, and one of them hates one of them and the other one loves them. So
Yeah.
interesting
That was a
dichotomy,
lot of
Rock and
fun.
Sock.
That was a lot of fun, man. And again, that was never supposed to happen. The sock, and Al Snow came up with the idea, and when I saw that pre-tape, I'm like, bro, that's it. That's part of the gimmick now, and it was funny, man. It was awesome. God, can you imagine how much money Mix made over socks over the years?
Yeah.
Think about that,
Yep.
bro. Like, what's he pay? 50 cents a sock? Probably sold them for 20.
Yeah. Yep. Crazy. So Ken Shamrock is injured on Sunday Night Heat by Y2J Chris Jericho. With Shamrock obviously not having the match, they end up replacing him with X-Pac. Was Shamrock going to lose this match anyway had it happened here? Because it happens on SmackDown. Jericho does beat Shamrock. Shamrock's out of WWF. He goes back to Japan. He ends up fighting for Pride Fighting Championship. Ends up back in the UFC eventually as well. So MMA was starting to garner some more money, and that's why he left. He wanted to make some more money, and he figured maybe before the end of his prime, even though he still fought for many, many years after that. Just interesting he leaves. So was Jericho going to beat him on the pay-per-view instead of SmackDown? Was that
Yeah,
the
I'm
original
sure he
plan?
was. If we were booking, yeah, I'm sure he was. Yeah. He was
And
going to
obviously,
be Rock. Right? I told you that story. That Meadowlands show. We had him beating Rock, and that was the only thing they changed on the show. They did not put Jericho over the Rock.
right. So
Yeah.
you wanted to push Jericho pretty strong.
Yeah. Yep.
With Jericho here, it's just very interesting that he has that feud with Shamrock. It's a lot of on SmackDown. It's a lot of Jericho with Howard Finkel. A lot of just funny stuff with Jericho. Then Jericho with Curtis Hughes. So it's a lot of stuff where you have stuff around Jericho. Obviously, he's great and he's got a great promo. But are you the only one that's kind of behind it, or is Vince McMahon behind it, or what's going on with Jericho?
Yeah, it's me and Ed, 1000%. Yeah.
Vince doesn't like him, or doesn't see anything in him
No,
yet.
no, no. Bro, I'm telling you again, John. It's like Vince let us do what we wanted to do, bro. Like seriously, he never, I mean, he let us do what we wanted to do. Now it doesn't surprise me how when we left, all of a sudden Jericho's now a ex WCW guy. That doesn't surprise me at all. But that was not going to happen when we were there.
Would Ken Shamrock have been WWF champion had you stayed, and had he stayed?
He could have been, bro. But whatever was going on contract wise with back and forth to UFC and all that stuff, I wasn't a part of that. He definitely could have been a champion. Yes.
So X-Pac defeats Chris Jericho with Curtis Hughes via DQ. The match goes 13 minutes. Interesting. Like the match, and Dr. Tom, by the way, is back as referee for this match after China gave him the pedigree earlier tonight. He's back. He's okay. He's refereeing. Just interesting. Jericho talks about how like the chemistry wasn't quite there. They've had way better matches after this in the WWF. Like he was just saying, like maybe. And they've had better matches before this too, but he was saying something was maybe a little off. It wasn't that great of a match or as good as it could have been. Do you take any credence to maybe he was fresh? This is his first pay-per-view match. This is like a lot of pressure on him. Do you think maybe he was feeling some of the heat or some of the pressure?
Yeah, probably, bro. This is his first pay-per-view match.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. I'm sure he wanted to knock it out of the park and just put too much pressure on himself. I'm sure of that.
Mr. Hughes, Curtis Hughes, actually beats up Dr. Tom to cause the DQ. Road Dogg comes out and makes the save. So DX still kind of there, still kind of teasing some DX stuff with the Road
Yeah.
Dogg. Obviously, him Billy Gunn back together as tag team champs, and him making the save here with X Pac. So, are you
Yeah.
loving maybe getting DX, getting the band back
Yeah,
together?
probably, yeah. God, there's a lot. I mean, now I'm thinking like, God, we probably had a lot of stuff on our minds and roads that we were going to go down that just never happened.
Curtis Hughes, what are your thoughts on him? He looks jacked, here. He's skinny here. I mean, he's in awesome shape rather than the Mr. Hughes you remember from his first run in WWF. What did you like? What was your thoughts? Who wanted to bring in Hughes? Was it Jericho? Was it you?
I
Who
think
wanted to
I
bring him
bro,
back and have
I
him be his
think I
bodyguard?
think it was Jericho, bro, but I'm not 100% sure. But he was a great dude, bro. He was like the nicest guy. He's one of those guys that like everybody liked. So like if Jericho did want to bring him in or suggested him, whatever, like nobody was gonna say no. Like he was very, very well liked in the locker room.
Do you think Jericho needed a bodyguard or a
No.
heater? Do you think he needed?
Mm-mm, mm-mm, no.
Do you think Jericho needed Howard Finkel, who was a funny little gimmick for a couple weeks there? Jericho and
Yeah,
Finkel.
well, that's just comedy, bro. Those are just comedy bits.
So then next up we have well, actually, what is your thoughts on Undertaker here? Because he's injured, he's not a part of the show. What are your thoughts on Taker? Would he have been in the main event? Would he have been winning the title? What was going to go on with Undertaker here? Because he was injured, not a part of the show, but obviously it felt like he would have been either in the main event or it would have been a part of the main event at least.
Yeah, I'm sure he would have been worked into the main event somehow, some way, bro. But like I can't remember specifically, but I'm sure, at that time and where we were, he would have been part of the main event, I'm sure.
Would he have won the title, you think, or no? You guys were headed in a different direction
Yeah,
from Taker.
probably not. But I can't remember where he was at that place in time.
Video package highlighting the road to the six-pack challenge and how the vacant WWF title will be on the line. Vince McMahon is the world champion. Stone Cold Steve Austin's announced as a special guest enforcer. He gets the title shot against the winner of this match. Does it kind of stink that Austin's hurt, or is it okay because you can build towards the next pay-per-view but still have Austin on the card and have
It's
his star
okay,
power?
man. It's okay. We were so deep, bro. That's why it just pays huge dividends when you got so many people over. You're not banking everything, bro, on Austin. So it was totally fine. Totally fine.
Then Triple H in the main event defeats Big Show, the British Bulldog, Kane, Mankind, and The Rock in the six-pack challenge for the vacant WWF Championship in about 20 minutes and 30 seconds. Stone Cold Steve Austin, like I mentioned before, is actually the one that counts the 1, 2, 3 because Jimmy Corderas is the referee for the match. The other referees, Earl Hebner and Kyoto and the crew, are pissed. Why did this guy cross the picket line? They bring him out of the ring, and when probably The Rock Big Show, I forget, but somebody besides Triple H, I think it was Rock, was actually going to win. They get Corderas out of the ring and they kick Corderas'
That is
ass.
great. That is great. That is
So
great.
that,
You know,
so
you know how that is great, bro. Here's how I know that is great. Have we ever seen that before or since?
no, never.
Okay, there you go, bro. That's why it was great. Yes.
But also another kind of interesting part of it is that means Austin, who was the other ref, he has to be the one that counts to 3, and he's the
There
one
you
that's
go.
going to be the number one contender. So
Yeah.
it's like, is he going to be fair and impartial and call it down the middle, or is he going to pick a guy that he wants to win and help
Yeah.
that guy? So very interesting the way
Yeah.
you guys set that up, because Corderas is the only ref they had. He's gone. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So it's like Austin is the other ref in the match. He has to count the 3. So obviously setting up like, wow, he's going to have to count the 3. Bulldog, who they hinted at before on SmackDown, hinted at before earlier in the night in his interview with Triple H and Lillian, he helps Triple H. Triple H ends up getting the victory, but it's like one of those things where, wow, so Bulldog helps him. Is Austin going to count the 3? He just saw some cheating going on. Triple H has the cover. He could win. Austin then nails Bulldog, gets him out of there, counts to 1, 2, 3, hands Triple H the title. Triple H is your new champion and winner. Guess what happens? He says he's number one contender. Middle fingers, kick in the stomach, stunner, grabs the title, and then throws it, basically signifying that he's the next step for Triple H. Do you like that finish?
I love the finish, bro, because look at the things we're doing on pay-per-views, man. The pay-per-views are unpredictable. The pay-per-views are getting you to the next night's Raw. They just don't do it like that anymore, bro. Everything is a period at the end of the sentence. And the fact that we're putting this type of creativity in a pay-per-view where we've already got the people's money, bro. We've already got the money. And we're still doing this, creatively throughout the show. That's the difference, man. To me, as a former wrestling fan, that is the difference between being a fan back then and not being a fan today.
Does it matter that Triple H pins The Rock to win? I mean, it's thanks to the British Bulldogs cheating, but it's like, wow, he pinned him on this first SmackDown thanks to Shawn Michaels cheating. I mean, he's pinning him thanks to British Bulldog cheating. He's beating him. Does it matter as far as Rock getting pinned here by Triple H?
Not really, bro, because Rock is bulletproof at the time. And bro, that's the time to beat somebody, bro. When they are so over, as long as there is an out or an excuse or something, that is the time to beat somebody, bro, is when they're absolutely bulletproof. And no matter what you do, you're not going to hurt them.
Does it matter that in the span of a few weeks, Triple H is already 2-time champion because of the Vince loss and then him winning it back here? Does that matter at all? Do you think it's stuff like that, or that doesn't matter?
I don't think it. I don't think of stuff like that, bro, because I always go back to if this were a shoot, and if this were a shoot, the title could change hands every time there's a match. If
Right.
this were a shoot, the title could change hands 3 times a week. And that's how I always looked at it.
So stunner by Austin, the crowd goes nuts. He's drinking beer, celebrating to end the show. Triple H is the champion. But you're trying to get Austin to look strong. He's fighting Triple H the next month for the title. That's the title program.
Yeah.
That's been the feud kind of for months leading up to this one-on-one match between these two. You like that Austin celebration? The crowd goes nuts. To end the show, little go home happy.
Oh, absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like a really good show, man. Sounds God for our last show. I should go back and watch it just because it was our last hurrah. But
Yeah.
man, it sounded like there was a lot happening in that show.
So you feel good that this was your last pay-per-view as far as like being able to say that.
Except the dog kennel from hell. But like
Yeah.
I said, bro, you're not gonna hit a home run every single time. You're just not. There's too many shows, there's too much TV, there's too many characters, there's too many storylines. It's not gonna be great all the time, man.
Interesting stuff all around. But you would say thumbs up though overall, besides the kennel match from hell.
Yeah, I would. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. From what you've described, I would want to go back and watch it.
Do you like the He-Man woman hater Jeff Jarrett gimmick? Do you like that gimmick? He's beating up all these women.
Again, bro, it's like even if we went to extremes, we're just looking for something different for everybody. I mean, that's
I feel like he had the most heat he had here.
Yeah,
because
that's
he wasn't with Deborah. He beat up
Yeah.
China. He beat up Moolah. He beat up Mae Young. I feel
Yeah.
like he was getting the most heat by beating up the women, which is kind of funny
Yeah.
in retrospect.
Yeah. So that's what we're trying to do, bro. Just trying to think of something different for everybody.
All right. So the last ever pay-per-view in the WWF for Vince Russo. Crazy to say, crazy to think after the hot run, and obviously still hot here at this point. I mean, you guys were killing it here and killing WCW at this point.
Yeah. I told you, bro, when I left Vince, my exact words to him were, you have a year to ride the wave. Everything's set up, everything's set in place, and you have a year to ride the wave. And if you look at the numbers, that's exactly what happened.
For sure. I mean, they were hot for a while, basically, after this. And I would say, to be honest, for my personal opinion, the creative wasn't that great, and they were hot. Austin was hurt, so the creative was really, really bad. And they had Rock, Triple H do the same thing every week. So it's crazy. They just kept riding the wave of momentum with not that great of creative.
Because everything was in place, bro. They were on a roll. And that's what I told Vince. I said, you got a year, bro. I mean, you've got a year, bro. You this thing can run itself right now.
And I know people will say maybe they're not draws or vanilla midgets or whatever, but Guerrero and Benoit coming in, that was a huge surprise. That gave them a little bit of a boost for a while, too. By the way, they're not vanilla midgets. I think they're both awesome. But it just one of the things where some people say that, but they gave a WWF a big boost, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Interesting, man, thinking about what would have been if Vince would have never said that. If Vince would have never said that, I would have never left. It had nothing to do with money. It had nothing to do with any of that. If he would have never said that, I would have never left. And that would have been interesting to see how long and how far and how high we could have taken it.
Yeah. And hey, you would still be there today booking Johnny Gargano on Raw. So who
Johnny Gargano would be nowhere near Raw, as would 80% of that roster wouldn't be on the show.
Oh, Braun Breaker would be there. He's a part of that 20%.
Braun Breaker would definitely be there. Braun Breaker would be, but not with that name, he wouldn't be.
No, he's got to be Steiner.
No. Yeah. Yes. Yep.
Should have just kept Rex Steiner. That's such a cool name.
Ridiculous, bro. That's a joke. That's the worst name. And bro, that's gonna hinder the guy from getting as over as he can get over because his name is horrible.
Hate that name.
Yeah.
He's awesome. The name is not great, but let's head towards the plugs. You follow me on Twitter and Instagram at 2Man Power Trip. Vince, what do you got going on?
Yeah, guys, if you've never been Patreon and you want to try Russo's brand, man, if you go to patreon.com /Russo TWC right now, you can get a free week of the brand. Listen to all the shows. Just go there right now, patreon.com /Russo TWC.
All right. Thank you, everybody out there, for listening. See you right back here next time for the next podcast. Have a good one, folks.